Ava Kolker, and we're talking about her newest single coming out in November, All to Myself. How are you doing today?
I am super excited to chat with you and tell you all about my new song.
I am so excited. So, we're going to jump right into it. So, you started acting when you were four.
Correct.
I'm interested, what made you want to be a part of this industry? What was about it that you're just like, this is what I want to do?
Honestly, when I was 2 years old, I used to say, when I grow up, I'm going to be a movie star. Like, that was my tagline. Like, that was what Ava said always. And after that, oh, that's my puppy. After that, I think my parents kind of put me in acting when I was 4. It was actually an accident. My older sister started acting, so my parents were like, "Oh, well, we'll have our youngest, or we'll have our youngest kid." So me and Lexy started, but Lexy was like 2, so they were like, "We'll wait a little bit on her." So then I started acting, and honestly, like it wasn't even on purpose. It wasn't even intentional. Like we were kind of just like, "All right, we'll give it a try." I was 4. I had no idea what was going on, but I was, excited and I did my auditions, I learned my lines, and then I kind of booked like back to back to back. I booked like my first 4 or 5 roles. American Horror Story. I booked a movie with Katie Holmes and then Kate Beckinsale, and then I got on Scary Movie 5 and then Girl Meets World. So it was pretty quick from there, and then yeah, it kind of just became my thing and I fell in love with it.
When did you decide you wanted to pursue music as well?
So I started doing musical theater when I was 6. So right about when I was on Girl Meets World, I was doing musical theater. I did 7 plays, so 7 musicals, and I just always had a love for singing. So I took singing lessons for like 7 years, and then when I was 12, my dad actually had some friends who were songwriters and producers, and he was like, "Would you want to try making your own music?" And I was like, sure, like I love singing. So I wrote 3 songs. I did eventually The Good Ones and When Will It Be Tomorrow. And I fell in love with making my own music, and I just like kind of found this new passion and this new dream of like becoming a singer and a songwriter. So that's kind of how music started when I was 12. So it's almost 4 years.
Well, what's interesting to me, I feel like a lot of us are like slackers a little bit to this point, like from four and then six, and then
Stop
now. I mean, granted, I'm no slacker, but in a way, I'm just like I feel like I need to aspire to be more at that point,
stop it. Stop
just a
it.
little bit, you know. Who are some artists that inspire you musically?
I mean, there's so many like artists that are just, incredible and so talented, but um I always like to consider who they are as like a person as well, and their image as a whole, not just their music. So I personally love Lady Gaga. I love how she stands for like just being yourself, unapologetically. And I love her outfits, I love her energy, I love how she's just so unconditionally Lady Gaga, she never cares what the world thinks. Like I absolutely love that, and I aspire to be like that. I just want to like let the world melt away and just be me. And I love that about her. Obviously, her voice too is just out of this world. And she's an actress, and she's proven herself to be an actress. And everyone always asks me, like, oh, like, are you gonna be a singer or an actress? And I'm like, I'm gonna be both. Like, I wanna be both. So I feel like she like is very accomplished in both areas, and I aspire to be like that.
It's funny when you say that because I always feel like when you are an actress or you're a singer and then you try to branch out into another aspect or an avenue in the industry,
Mhm.
they're like, well, are you this or you that instead of why can't I be multiple things?
Exactly. Like everyone's always like, well, if you had to pick a favorite. And I'm like, well, no, like I love them both for different reasons, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Now, your new single, All to Myself, comes out in November, and it's your sixth single that you've released. What was your inspiration behind the song?
That's crazy that I released 6. I can't even believe that. Like, wow, that's weird. It feels like just yesterday I started making music. But All to Myself, the inspiration behind this song, it's kind of since I have such a strong connection to music, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this and feel this, is that like listening to music can be an escape from everyday life, from whatever issues you have. For me, music is so calming. Like when I want to relax or when I want to disconnect, I just like put on music. I put on my favorite songs. I listen to my favorite artists, and that is my escape. So the song is kind of about how sometimes listening to your favorite artist or your favorite music can help you escape and can relax you and can help you like kind of reconnect to yourself, you know? And yeah, that was my inspiration behind the song, is just really like finding peace in like listening to music and your favorite music.
Well, I'm excited. I love. Well, I mean, I always think that's what movies and music have always been about,
Yeah,
especially if it's done well, is an escapism. So I'm
exactly.
excited to listen to it.
Yay, I'm super excited for you to hear it.
Now, what do you love the most about being a singer?
I love being able to just tell stories through my music and be I love being able to just express myself, because in acting I always have to hide behind a character and be somebody else. And in music I'm really able to kind of show the world who I am and my thoughts and my position on things, you know, and share my stories and experiences. And I think it's so beautiful that I'm able to share that with the world and just really be me.
If tomorrow you could just work with your dream collaborator, if nothing was limited, and you could just call them up and say, "Can you work with me?" They're like, "Yes, I'm down." Who would it be?
Dead or alive, Elvis Presley, because like first of all I grew up listening to Elvis Presley, and my dad like kind of raised me and all of my sisters listening to him, and I know like so many of his songs and his voice and his whole image, and obviously the movie as well was incredible, and just like I feel like showed me so much more of his story. So Elvis, if they didn't have to like be alive, like if it could be anybody ever, I'd say Elvis. But like present day, probably probably Billie Eilish, because what I really want to do is I love like singing falsetto and like, you know, in that high like really soft range. And I would love to just like make a few songs with her and kind of, because I feel like we have very similar like voices in that way, that I like to sing like that. And I love how her and her brother like write all her songs in like a bedroom, just like super chill, and it's nothing crazy. And I love that vibe and that energy.
Well, I can't wait to see when that happens. Like,
I
we're
know.
manifesting today. We're
One
manifesting.
day, yeah, putting it out there.
And I mean, speaking of manifesting, you have a new movie, Manifest West, that's coming out very soon in November as well. Like, November is a big month for you.
November's a big month.
What was it like working opposite your sister in this movie?
Honestly, it was like a dream come true for me, because we've always wanted to work together and it just hasn't happened. And the fact that we got to like do a film together in a smaller production, so it was very close, very intimate, but also, you know, very fun, and like we were able to just crack jokes because there were no like crazy execs or like big massive crews saying like, you know, stay in character, whatever. It was very relaxed, which I loved. But it was incredible getting to work with my little sister, and I was playing a role so different from myself. You guys will get to meet Lana on November 11th. I'm the bad girl in the movie. So I'm like the bad influence. I have pretty bad language, so that's just a warning. And it was cool getting to be somebody so different from me. You know, I love those roles where I really have to step out of Ava and step into somebody else. And just being able to do that with my sister right there was just so cool.
What was the hardest thing for you about doing this? If there was such a thing to be hard about, you know?
Yeah, I feel like we didn't really have, I mean, there was one playful scene that was incredible and like so much fun. But other than that, like our scenes together were very serious. And I just kind of like would, you know, kind of yell at her and just like be really mean. And that was like tough for me, because all I want to do is like be playful and like crack jokes and stuff. So to have, and I like break her arm ish in a scene. Um, so like it's just tough to like be like really mean. I don't know, that was different for me, because it wasn't like I was acting with anybody, it was my sister. But it was also kind of cool because we both know we're acting. So there was like, you know, obviously no hard feelings, but that was just not, I wouldn't say difficult, it was just different for me.
Well, most of the movie takes place like moving away from the city, moving west into a more mm, not
Remote.
yeah, I was gonna say like remote,
Yeah.
very all the rules, or kind of like when you thought all the rules that you had by society in the city weren't really going to apply while you're in this mountain area.
Right.
Would you, Ava, be able to survive? Do you think you'd survive a move to the mountains?
I mean, I think I would like love it, honestly. Um, it depends about like obviously service and Wi-Fi because it's like kind of my job. So it's like my, obviously my job to do that stuff. But going up into the mountains, it's just like a different type of peace, with just all the like wildlife and nature. It's so beautiful. It's so relaxing. And I love especially going up there with my family, going on hikes and just even sitting outside and having talks by a fire or whatever. I love it. I don't know if I could do that permanently because of like what I do for a living, but I think if I had like a different occupation and like I wasn't, on social media so much or acting and like learning scripts on my phone, I think I would love it.
Okay, but do you think you'd survive if you had no Wi-Fi, like no ability to connect like through Wi-Fi with the outside world?
I think I could for a while. I don't think I could like live like that forever, but I could do that for like, like a few months probably.
Okay, I'm down.
I think I could do it. I mean, my favorite times with my family and like with Lexi and my friends is just when we turn off our phones and we just talk or we play board games or we watch movies or those types of things. Or I love cooking and baking, so I would just cook and bake and learn new recipes. That's like I think that would be so nice for me to just disconnect and just do those things. I would love that.
And I also think disconnecting is also just a great mental health rest for us in the industry. Like sometimes we just really do need to step back, step away, breathe.
100%,
It's a
especially
lot.
social media all the time, 24/7, like just seeing what everybody else is doing and what everybody else has, and like then a lot of comparison goes into that, like what they have and what I don't, and that type of stuff can get very unhealthy for a lot of people. So I think it's so good for everybody to just take some time and disconnect when they notice that happening a lot because that's not good for anybody's mental health.
Definitely. And what is your biggest lesson you've learned so far from acting that you really take with you in your personal life?
I think what I've really learned is that there's so much that is out of our control in life, and that we can only do so much to control what happens. We can only ever do our best. We can be prepared. We can practice a lot. We can, expand our skill sets, get better at our skills that already exist. But at the end of the day, there's so much that isn't even about us that affects us. Like for acting, I can only prepare so much for a role and hope that I get it, even though there's so many factors that contribute that are out of my control, like height, or like certain things. Like I've heard a lot of my friends haven't booked roles because they were an inch too short or an inch too tall. Like that stuff to me, that's crazy. Like there's so much that's out of our power. And I feel like that um applies to so many areas of life. So I think all we can do is become the best version of ourselves and, you know, just that's what we can do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, Sydney to the Max did three amazing seasons. And if you could tell your character Olive anything now, what would you tell her?
I would tell her like how lucky she is to have Sydney. Cause it is so hard to find like a best friend and someone who like will be by your side forever. And I feel like Olive and Sydney have that. And I think that they were just, so close and they were so good at working out their issues when they had them, which wasn't very often, but they never like kind of, swipe things under the rug. They always dealt with everything, which was amazing. And I feel like I took a lot away from that because especially in relationships it's easy to let things slide and sometimes you don't know when things build up. Like it's so much better to just address it and speak your emotions, especially to your best friend. Yeah, and I would just tell her to like really cherish that relationship and how lucky she is to like have somebody like Sydney.
What do you think Olive's up to now or 5 years from now? What would she be doing?
Honestly, she'd probably be like an accountant or something. Like she would she would be working, well, 5 years from now. Yeah, I guess she'd be 20. That's so weird that I'm gonna be 20 in 5 years. I don't even want to think about that. But or no, she'd be going to like Yale or like Harvard, like a really, really prestige school. And she would be like majoring in like finance or something like that. She'd be in all honors classes. I feel like she would do like a lot of like extra credit, but it would be a lot of like, saving the environment and the climate and like that kind of stuff.
I can see that.
Um, and yeah, no boys for Olive. Like I feel like she's just not going to be interested unless she meets like a total geek, like a nerd, and then she's like, oh my god, he's gonna have like the big glasses, and like nobody's gonna like him, but she will. She's gonna be like, you're perfect.
Well, this is what I think about like guys or geeky guys that like they're like the potential. There's
The
so much
potential.
potential with a guy with some glasses. Like I see the future. Like I know the potential of what he could be.
Right? Yeah. So I think that's definitely Olive's type. So I feel like, I don't think she's gonna date around or anything until she like meets a guy where she's like, oh my God, like you're the man of my dreams, whatever, you know what I mean? But she'll stay focused on her career, and that's gonna be Olive. That's what I see for her.
I can definitely see that. Now, life after Sitting to the Max might be a little different than what you were thinking it was going to be, but would you ever want to star in a decom?
Of course. I mean, that's always been my dream. DComs are, kind of a combination of my two favorite things, acting and singing. There's so much music and so many DComs singing, dancing, everything, High School Musical, Zombies, Descendants, all of it, you know? And yeah, that's always been a dream of mine, would be like to be in a DCom. So if the opportunity ever presents itself, I will 100% be doing that. And I would love to do that.
I know you and August are still close because you guys have been recreating some of your most popular Girl Meets World scenes together. What has that been like, recreating the scenes you guys did when you're like super, super young?
So much fun, so nostalgic for both of us, like to relearn these lines. And then some of us would like, I mean, one of us would remember like all the lines from the scene, and and then the other person would be like, how the heck do you remember? Because it's actually happened a few times where we would like watch a clip and then we would pause it, but then we would keep going like saying the lines because we actually remembered it, which is like really weird because it's been like 8 years. But it's been incredible like reconnecting with Augs, because we kind of like didn't see each other for a long time. Like it was like a year, 6 months, and then we saw each other so much back to back, and it was like we were little again. We kind of just like our inner child is like happy when we're with each other. We just feel like little kids again, and we just make jokes and listen to Hamilton and play Pokemon Go, and it's just like I just love hanging out with him so much.
That is the best feeling in the world, when you get to reconnect with someone that you knew you're a kid, but it still feels like your inner
Yes.
child is just there and
Yes.
everything's simple. I love
Yeah.
it.
And I know we're both like still kids. Like whenever I say like I feel like a kid again, people are like, you are a kid. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I feel like sometimes, especially with what we do, it gets so serious, and like it is like, working a job with acting and singing and being an influencer and all that stuff. Sometimes it gets to be a lot. So it's nice when you can just like find somebody who like where everything else falls away, and it's just like you're in that moment with that person just like laughing, and that's how it always is with Augie.
I love that. Now, I know you haven't released All to Myself just yet, but are you also working on any more new music for the new year?
Yes, I have a lot of songs that I am finishing getting ready for release. Something like around 10, maybe more. So what we're doing right now is, we're adding all the background vocals and harmonies and getting the mixes done. And then we have to do photo shoots for all the covers and do the music videos and create a release schedule. So I have All to Myself coming out November 4th, which we were still finishing up the music video. It's taking a while. It's gonna be really cool. We've already shot 4 days for it, so
Nice.
it's like a full on shoot. So I'm really excited for everybody to see that. And yeah, just really getting a lot of music ready to release and finalizing a lot of stuff. But I'm really excited. And once I have stuff to share, I definitely will be posting sneak peeks.
And besides Manifest West, do you have any other new acting projects fans could check you out in?
Not currently. I might like in the next few months, but Manifest West, yeah, is on November 11th, and I have a short film right now that I believe is going to be going to the festivals. So I'm excited to hear how that goes. I don't think it's like, I don't know how that worked with like distribution or whatever, but that was fun to film. I filmed that like, I honestly, I have like no conception of time after COVID. Like everything just blends together. I don't know if it was a few months or like a year ago, but yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. And just, I mean, acting has been different since COVID. Everything has changed. So I think everybody's still kind of adjusting after that, but I'm excited about Manifest West, and I think my whole family, we're all going to go see it on November 11th, and I'm excited for it to be out in the world.
I'm excited as well. I have a couple, just one game I want to play before we head out.
Okay.
A little Halloween, this and that.
Okay.
Okay, so pumpkin patch or haunted house?
Ugh, oh my gosh, I already am bad at this. Okay, I'll go pumpkin patch.
Be scared or scare someone?
Be scared.
Pumpkin spice or apple cider?
Pumpkin spice.
Zombie or werewolf?
Ooh. I'm gonna go werewolf.
Halloween party or Halloween movie marathon?
See, this is tough because I was deciding which one we should do. But we
Okay.
threw like a really fun Halloween party last year. So all of our friends were like, "Are you throwing a Halloween party?" And I was kind of like, "No, like let's just do something more low key, like a Halloween marathon with just like our family and a few friends." So I'm gonna go Halloween marathon because we can like bake cookies and get in PJs, and it's just, more chill. And but it also depends on the mood because sometimes Halloween parties are just like the best. But okay, this year I'm feeling Halloween marathon.
Well, I'm happy I could help with that decision.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed that.
Thank you so much for talking to me, guys. I am Chae Jones. You can find me all across social media at Real Chae Jones or A Spoonful of Chae. And obviously, you can find Ava Kolker at Ava Kolker. She's official. She has the blue check mark.
I have a blue check mark.